It might seem unlikely that central Illinois could have much impact on Israeli-Palestinian relations, a deep conflict spanning more than 50 years. But actually, it very well could, thanks to a now 3-year-old Friends Forever program that brings 5 Arab teens and 5 Israeli teens together for what program leaders call an intensive life raft, right here in McLean County.
It's an opportunity to bring these kids together, have them live together for 2 weeks in a community together. They cook meals together, they do service together, they get to know each other, they get to become friends. And so that they can see beyond the labels Jew, Arab, Christian, Islam. They're able to become friends, and then when they go back home for the next year, they're engaged as sort of ambassadors for peace.
And you would think, why don't they just do this in Israel? Why don't they just do that? Then they would save travel, they would save the others. But taking them out of that particular context, that family context and neighborhood context, and putting them in a somewhat neutral place so they look at one-to-one and one difference here, one difference there, and to them, they feel like this is resolvable. We can coexist, we can build peace. And I find that just hopeful, encouraging. I hope it builds better understanding and that we can make some progress in the world.
20% of the population of Israel are Israeli Arabs. They vote, they have passports, they can travel, they have the same rights as Jews, but they live kind of separate lives. The Arabs have to learn Hebrew, the Jews don't have to learn Arabic, most of them don't. And so that's part of the challenges.
Generally, the students who participate are 15 to 16 years old and often have never mingled until this experience. Program leaders say the students continue their connection once they go home, and they think that will make all the difference in the end.
And part of that maturity may come from growing up in an environment where conflict was in the news regularly, and they had to confront it in some ways, and they certainly heard messages from their parents and neighbors and friends. And yet they're young enough where those feelings and stereotypes and prejudices haven't been deep-seated yet in many cases. So they're open to change and learning and coexisting.
I think it is actually a good time frame for them because they're not settled into adulthood and they have the possibility to become leaders down the road.
The students are required to perform community service and speaking engagements. They learn to work together in their daily living tasks, such as cooking in their host home, where this last year, all of them, including their leaders, stayed together.
This is really, really hard. It sounds like it's all fun and it's, they're going to America and they're going to do this wonderful thing, but it's really, really hard. They work very hard, and at some point in the 2 weeks that they're here, they come up against a real tough situation and they need to work through it. And they do, and it makes them even stronger friends.
There's a huge benefit here too, as it provides Americans who encounter with these kids the opportunity to see Jews and Arabs together. They don't often see that.
It costs this local program $25,000 a year to keep going. It's money that they have to come up with each year. And so worth it, say program founders. They're affiliated with a nationally run organization and are one of the only programs not on the East Coast. The local one is one of 5 to 10 life rafts that happen in the U.S. in any given year.
It's such an inspiring activity to be part of. I've never been part of anything that was so inspirational and moving. These kids, like I said, are working so hard, and at the same time they're loving and wonderful and sweet, and teenagers, a little goofy, a little silly. It's just such an emotionally charged activity.
I don't think the problems of the Middle East are going to be solved by old people. And I don't mean that derogatorily. It's because it's so ingrained through traditions and family passing down message to message to message, and it's been so reinforced. One of the comments that the young lady said, I wanted to come here and I wanted to work this out for myself. And other words, she wanted to see how it fit with her values and how could she become a friend with someone who she didn't understand.